Hello. Haven't been live for a few weeks. Last time I was in the Sunshine Coast. But I would like to, as I always do, start off by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I am living, working and playing. That is the Gold Coast area, which is the Yungambeh people. I acknowledge the traditional custodians and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Today I'm welcoming Jane Hilston from How to Do Marketing Academy. I'm going to get her on here right now. We're talking about how EDM can help you, or email can help you build your brand. Hi, Jane.
Hi, can you see me okay there?
I see you. It says nice behind you. It's lovely. And your beautiful lipstick. I put my earrings on for you, but I didn't get around to the lippy.
I've got mine on too.
Oh, they're gorgeous. New ones?
Yeah, they're fairly new, these ones. Yes, yeah. I have a bit of a fetish for these kind of earrings, and I saw these pop up on Instagram. I think they're from Isabella and Co. Which is another regionally based business. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, so they popped up in my suggested for you, and now I follow them because they have so many of these beautiful little creations. So yes,
they suit you so well. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you, and you're looking gorgeous too.
Very sunny, sunshiny. It's warm up here. So Jane, we always start with tell us, who are you, and how do we know each other?
Yeah. So, my name is Jane Hilston. I am a marketing consultant and I help small businesses to get to create high impact marketing campaigns on a small budget. We are particularly passionate about working with businesses based in regional Australia, but we also help a lot of fabulous city-based businesses as well. So I have an agency called Dragonfly Marketing, and I've recently started the How to Do Marketing Academy, which I have joined as today. So, and the How to Do Marketing Academy, instead of doing the marketing for small businesses, we teach them how to do it.
Yes, which is so beneficial. And yes, and I'm going to share that we met through Business Chicks.
Oh, sorry, yes.
18 months ago now.
Business Club.
Oh,
yeah.
Business Club.
Through Business Chicks. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was 18 months ago. Yeah, it's kind of been, it was kind of when we first went into lockdown, wasn't it? And all of a sudden we could connect, no matter where the state or the city, we could connect. So that was one of the great things to come out of COVID.
It was really wonderful. I had the pleasure of visiting you as well. But yes, I did see you present. So early on, which was really fabulous timing, you presented to the Business Chicks and it was so great.
Oh, yeah.
I loved how practical and I don't want to say simple, like that you make it digestible.
Yeah.
Straightforward. It's like sometimes when you're seeing marketing stuff and we all know we've got to do marketing, right? It's a big part of business, but sometimes you say it and it's just like, ugh, it's too much. And it's like, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And you should be doing all the things.
All the things. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how do I even start? So I really love your strategic approach, but also the fact that you work with small businesses, you fully understand that we don't have heaps of time. And sometimes, no, we don't have heaps of resources either.
No, that's right. And you know, it goes back to the age-old keep it simple, stupid. I don't know whether there's a more politically correct one.
I say sassy. Keep it simple, sassy.
Keep it simple, sassy. It really doesn't have to be complicated. I was explaining to a client today. She, I said, even, I've seen some of corporate Australia's big organisations' marketing plans, and theirs is really simplified as well. It comes down to those core fundamentals that sit within your strategy and your planning. If you're a larger organisation and you're an international organisation, obviously the tactical delivery of that is far more complex. But at the end of the day, how you approach that marketing is across the board in terms of size of industry, where you're located, size of business, what industry you're in. There really is some simple foundations to adhere to. Where people get confused is when they think about all the marketing tactics that they could be doing, because there's a billion of those. So, and if you're looking at it tactically without looking at the strategy first and foremost, you will completely get overwhelmed, because when you've got a list of 100 things that you could be doing, and you know that you're probably doing one or two and you could be doing a lot more, and not knowing which ones to take, like, that's an overwhelming place to be.
Yeah, as you're saying, that's what I was totally thinking. It's like we do just jump straight to the tactics, and you ask somebody what their marketing plan is or what their marketing strategy is, and they're like, oh yeah, well I do this, I do that, and do that. And you're like, no, like that is like the end game. Like we need to go back to like, why are you even doing this? Like, who do you want to talk to?
Yeah.
What do you do? Who do you serve? If you can't say that, we've got a lot of work to do.
That's exactly right. Exactly. I've just realised it's quite dark. Let me just see if I turn on the light. That's a little bit lighter. I'm actually, you can probably see all my admin in my background. I'm actually getting a completely new fit out in this office tomorrow, so that I have a nice background and perhaps some new lighting and all of that sort of stuff as well. So I've got, and I'm on in one of these admin days where I'm just like boxing up honey on behalf of clients and paying invoices, and so my office is just flat at the moment. So hopefully you can't see too much of that.
No, we see Jane and nice. So that's lovely.
Yeah, that's personal branding.
On brand, yes. This is me. So we should all have just a little like icon or like here. Right. So I brought you here today after being all that, like, don't tell me what to do. You should do that.
Don't say.
But you should be having an email that we're going to talk about. So let's say what should is not a great word. Why is it suggested that people would use email?
Yeah. Look, email, that's exactly right. If we position it as email is a very, very, very powerful marketing tactic that not a lot of small businesses are leveraging or using to the best of their ability. I'm yet to meet a business. There are a few businesses where I haven't prioritized email marketing. It's very, very few and far between. Most businesses across most industries, and particularly small business, will have a requirement for email marketing. And when I say requirement, I mean you'll get great results. And whether those results are about increasing sales, whether it's just about engaging with your target audience much more effectively, whether it's just about keeping front of mind with existing customers, previous customers, or prospective customers. Email can achieve so many of the different objectives that we will outline in a marketing strategy. So just as a quick recap, so that we don't start talking about tactics before strategy, when we're actually putting your strategy together, of course, we're looking at your business objectives and what your priorities are. We're also looking at your target audience. So one of the key questions that we'll be looking at in terms of your target audience is, how do they use email? So most people use email. Like, we have to, like, most of us, give me a person who doesn't use email to some degree. Even the older generation, the boomers, the 80-plus-year-old, they all have email. Everyone has email. It's just how they use it. So the biggest thing that a lot of small businesses will say is, I don't just want to be one of those emails that pop into people's already overcrowded and overwhelmed inboxes, because we do get so much spam. Yeah. So there's a lot of small businesses who are like, well, I don't want to be someone who just, clogs up people's inboxes with my spammy emails. And my response to that would be, well, don't clog up their emails.
Don't do it then.
Emails. Clog up their inbox with valuable, useful, helpful, entertaining pieces of communication that they will actually really look forward to. And I can think of several emails that come into my overcrowded and overwhelmed inbox that I have prioritized. I make sure they come into my primary inbox and I read them, some of them, as often as they come in. So email is one of those things that, yes, it's become incredibly popular. Yes, there are people who get a lot of emails, so we have to be really, really conscious about how we use this form of communication to create an impact. But at the end of the day, if we do it well, we can really, really use this to achieve quite a few objectives on our marketing plan.
Yeah, and I was listening to you talk, I think it was in your podcast the other day, and you were talking about like someone who wasn't sending email, and it was a product-based business, because I think this is probably where I came from. I am a service-based business, and for many years I didn't send one, and I heard it literally. I was just talking to a client. I just had a coaching call with my gorgeous group, Live and Love Your Brand group, and I was saying I'm about to talk about email, so let's have a quick chat about it. Is anyone using it? And one of the responses was that, oh well, I don't really want to keep growing and growing and growing. I kind of believe I'll get the referrals, so I'm just going to go with that. And I was like, yes. That's where I used to be too, because we do only have a limited capacity when you're depending on the type of business, but service providers, definitely we sometimes trade hours for money. So you only have a certain amount of, in business, you only have a certain amount of work that you can deliver at a time. So you go, well, oh, I've got enough, but that's for now. So then what happens when you don't have enough, or then you're trying to out of the blue and say, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting calling. You're trying to out of the blue go, oh, hey, I'm here. And that's exactly, I said to her, you're staying front of mind. And what I've realized from doing my weekly emails now, I've moved from monthly to weekly, is people, I just keep in their mind. And they might not write back to everyone, but then when I see them, they go, oh, I just love hearing from you. Or they get it and they do write back and they say, I was actually meaning to contact you.
Yeah.
And this has jogged my memory. And, they were meaning to call me. They could have been meaning to call me for 2 months. But and maybe they never would have, because it would have just kept becoming a thing and a write it and post it. But when I'm going to the inbox and read, oh, I've got to call Emma. And then literally she goes, when I get your email, I book the call.
Yeah.
And it's it's staying front of mind, like you said.
It's staying front of mind. And even with the expectation, I never expect anyone to reply to my marketing emails, even though
I told them.
What's that?
I always write back.
I know, but it's lovely. It's lovely when people do. And it's always a lovely surprise when people do. And what's most interesting is what they respond to. So recently I communicated that I'd won a big marketing award, and I got a flurry of responses from people that I just hadn't realized were still reading my emails. Do you know what I mean? From all of these people that I was like, oh, it's so nice to hear from them. They hadn't replied to an email of mine for years. A couple of them said, love your emails, but it was that responded, that kind of triggered them to respond. But most of the information, sometimes I'll ask a question. Every now and again, I'll throw out a bit of bait to the email list, and I'll go, what's been your favorite podcast? I'm going to give away a book to the first 5 people that I hear from. And you get, people writing back to you, telling them their first, and it kind of just awakens. You see who's listening. Obviously,
I saw that one. You got a beautiful reply about our episode, which was, was such a beautiful testimonial, and really nice, but great idea for the engagement, and great to get the reply. But you added an incentive too, which was very good.
Yeah, well, look, put yourself in your recipient's shoes. They're rushing through their inbox, right? So I don't know about how you consume your emails, but I skim a lot of mine. And the ones that I do find useful, because I get a lot of service-based information emails like that I actually find them really useful. But I'm skimming them. I'm skimming them for the useful bits, and I'll generally consume that info, move on. So obviously, if you're using an email marketing software, you can actually review a lot of the metrics around how that content's being consumed. So we use we use a variety, but the majority of our emails, we particularly on behalf of clients, we use MailChimp, and the send reports will show you, you know, how many people have opened it, how many people have opened it several times, who's clicked through on what link. It actually now predicts, like, it has artificial intelligence, and it predicts demographics in terms of what's the makeup of the people that are opening it. So they're quite tricky. I'm just going to put a little a note in there, an NB, with the Apple iOS 4 updates that have affected social media, in terms of Apple giving their consumers the choice as to whether their data is reported back to software platforms such as MailChimp, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Apple customers now have the opportunity to say, actually, no, I don't want you to tell Facebook or MailChimp when I've opened an email or if I've clicked or whatever. So those metrics won't be as accurate moving forward, because if you take out the 50% of Apple users, what they're now planning to do is modeling. So they're wildly trying to catch up with those iOS 14 updates, so that, you know, people, the marketers don't flock away.
It's still an insight, and you're not, you know, it's like that thing about the unsubscribe. You don't want to go through, and you've made the mistake of going and opening and seeing who actually unsubscribed. Like, you don't want, it's a number. Like, you're really looking at a pattern, aren't you? You don't want to be going into the minutiae. You want to know that, like, if no one's clicking and no one's opening, you're like, well, then I've got a problem. Yeah. But if you're getting a number, then you can work with that. I think if you go like, oh my God, iOS is real, well, I can't do email. It's like, no, you just have to be a little bit more.
So when I do go stalking to see the people, is so when I'm actually selling via email. And the person that you mentioned the other day, she's an e-commerce business, and so she implemented a weekly email and started getting at least $1,500 worth of revenue every single time she sent that email. Like, that's $1,500 worth of revenue she wasn't getting necessarily each week, because she sells beautiful spontaneous buy stuff. So this is stuff when
blew my mind.
In your inbox, you go,
because a product,
I have to have it.
Well, a product, like, because that's where people have the issues, like a service-based business. Oh, well, people don't, you know, I don't need to tell people what I'm doing, the referrals, blah, blah. But a product-based business not sending an email, I'm like, are you insane? Or, you know. I
can't tell you how many people don't. I can't tell you how many people don't. And even as a service base, like, I sell from email, and so obviously my sale is a much, much, much higher and more considered purchase than a pair of, you know, $30 earrings. However, I go in and I can actually see who's clicked several times, so that, again, from a leads perspective, from a business development perspective, I can go, right, who's biting on this list, because it might be worth me actually reaching out to them directly, and probably not saying, hey, I'm big brothering you and I can see all the activity that you've got on my. But, you know, if I know them, I probably could. You know, if I've got a previous relationship with them, if they're an existing or previous client, I could pick up the phone at that point and say, hey, Rebecca, I can see that, you know, you've opened a few emails. Is this something that interests you? You know, so it does give you that granular info if you want it.
Yeah, but I think, you know, it's something that's, hey, Nat, I did change my perspective though. Like I was saying, I had that thing, but like I said, I wasn't creating that awareness. I was building it up to, like, what do they say? Or, you know, I was doing that whole thing that I now help my clients with. They don't want to hear from me anyway, or what am I going to talk about? But that's because I was offering so many, you know, everything under the sun. It was very hard to talk about. Once I now, the way I work now seemed a lot more straightforward. But even then, it was like I was doing things. I was offering workshops. I was having ways of working that would have been beneficial for my audience to know about, and I wasn't letting them know. And then when stuff hit the fan, and I was like, I don't need work, I would email about my clients directly and go, hi, I'm available. And I'd be like, oh, great, hello, there you are. I do actually have work for you. It's like, well, maybe if I was in their inbox weekly or monthly, they would have reached out to me in the meantime. And so it's been a big change for me in that thinking. And, you know, in terms of the emails, the way I consume sometimes I just see the email. So say for a company like Black Milk, or there's a company called Tripadeal, who in the email is very product based, or like trips or things like that. So it's usually a list of things. Well, that email might not have anything relevant to what I want to do. Like if it's a cruise in Europe or something, like I don't want to go on that. But then it'll go, oh, I do want to see what they've got on offer at the moment. So I go to their website, you know, or Black Milk. It's like, I don't want that range that I have, but I haven't thought about them for a while. So I'll go, you know, in full disclosure, I go straight to the sale tab, you know, but I go to their website, and then I'm hanging out there because I was prompted. I think I'm up going, oh, that's their name. Oh, maybe I do want some more fancy pants leggings. You know, it's that, yes, being in the inbox. So the content does matter, but the simply being there is helpful as well.
Yeah. And I would say, like, I've recently promoted and sold a marketing masterclass through, and this is from a service-based business, marketing masterclass, and then obviously my academy that launched earlier this year. And I can say that the majority of the sales came through my email list, and these are from people where I was like, oh, who are you? Where have you come from? Like, I didn't know you were on my list, or I haven't seen you or noticed you. There was a few people that I had, you know, and I had, but the majority of the sales came through emails, and I had no previous contact with them or previous signs, unless if I went back and looked at every individual email to find out how many times that person had opened my emails in the past. I probably would have seen that they're quite a frequent, and you can go into individuals and see how frequently and exactly which emails that they have opened. So you can go back and go, oh, okay, so this person, Carmel, has purchased this masterclass. I've never seen Carmel before. I wonder where Carmel's come from. I can go in and click on her profile in MailChimp, and it'll say Carmel opens 73%. These are all of the emails that she opened. I can go back for years and years, for as long as Carmel's been on my database, and I can go, right, okay, now I can start to get a picture of how many touch points does someone like Carmel, you know, in my target persona and profiling, how many touch points does someone like Carmel need before she purchases? And in the future, you know, I might notice that Carmel then purchases a few more marketing masterclasses off the email, and then maybe gets the more premium product of the mastermind. And I can start to build up a real picture of, okay, I now have much more of an idea about how this customer journey is working, because I've got trackable data, complete transparency, that I can actually, you know that information is true instead of guessing. And in marketing, we don't like to guess.
No. And, you know, that's so interesting, like how you can, and that's the thing, that's what's forgotten, I think. I think when people think that they're going to send an email and then they're going to get a sale, or if they do send an email and then they don't get a sale. But I have to say, it did work for me after years of not sending an actual newsletter thing. I put together a template. I sat on it for 6 months. So I'm always like, do as I say, not as I do. Sat on it for 6 months, finally bit the bullet, populated the template, sent the email. That afternoon, I got a reply going, oh, I've been thinking about branding. Let's talk. Booked a call the next morning, told her what the program was, She purchased that afternoon. And we're talking a thousands sale. So it's, you know, these are, you know, this is a high-end program.
What more do you need?
I sat on it for 6 months. So it can convert to a sale. But obviously she'd been in my realm for a little while, but I didn't know she was on my list either. And so I'd just been collecting all these emails through my website and not utilizing them or not contacting them. And so it's like they've taken the time, you know, as a communications perspective, they've taken their time to give you their email saying, hello, I'd like to hear from you. And then you're not talking to them. You know, it was such a disservice. And then, so, you know, for me, the monthly wasn't really working. I was finding it, even as someone who does content, I found it, you know, hard to plug the holes. Maybe that was the template I had, or I was building it up to be a big thing. And so I shifted it. And now I just write a thing,
Yeah.
and share my podcast. So
Yeah. Boom.
you might tell them a thought, or you
Yeah.
know, find a style that works for you. It's not like, oh, everybody's doing this one, I've got to do like that.
No. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And test it. I tested. I was like, I don't know if people are gonna like this. I'm gonna write it like this, and if we'll
Yeah.
see. And you know, can I keep up weekly?
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's working. But it's that staying in connection and in communication. And people were saying that email was dead. This thing was going around for quite a while, and I think even now, too, like people still say, "Oh, email is dead." Like, where did that come from, and why?
Oh, it's because people have shiny new thing. They have shiny new thing object. Um, shiny new thing syndrome, I should say, not object. And that's, you know, there was a period of time there where digital marketing was evolving at a rate of knots. You know, we would wake up each morning and there's a new social media platform. Or there's a new upgrade to a social media platform. There's a new functionality. There's something more it can do. So the digital marketing world evolved incredibly rapidly, and all of a sudden, email just seemed really antiquated. And so I think a lot of people were like, it's so unsexy, and it doesn't really seem to have updated like the social platforms are. And, you know, the social platforms are all singing and all dancing and all this and all of that. And email's still kind of the same as it was, you know, 10, 15 years ago, apart from just being a bit more HTML focused, you know, a bit more visual. So I think that was just people's perception. I think too that perception came from people, you know, having those overwhelmed inboxes. And then with, you know, functionality for such, like I have Gmail. And Gmail, so my, you know, all my emails like dragonflymarketing.com.au and How to Do Marketing Academy, they all forward to this Gmail server. And so Gmail very beautifully, and I'm sure all of them do it now, sorts, like uses artificial intelligence to sort out my main emails, my like promotional emails, my update emails, my social emails. So it can quite accurately put things into folders that way. So again, you know, the marketing emails started landing in update folders or promotional folders. So they haven't been as widely kind of clicked on because the email platforms are kind of sorting those out for the users. So just little things like that. I think people were like, too hard. You know, when things are not easy or not particularly sexy, you know, it's just like things like, you know, offline marketing, radio ads, print ads, direct mail. People have said they're dead as well, but they're so not. They're expensive now compared to some of the digital marketing, but they're not dead. They're still very, very, very valid tactics. So I think when someone wants to conveniently not use a medium because it got too hard or too expensive, they're very happy to jump on the that's dead. But it's a shame because it's generally not. But again, it goes back to that strategy around, it doesn't really matter what you as the business owner thinks, because at the end of the day, if you're looking to connect with your consumer, your target audience, it really only matters where they are and what they think and what they will respond to. And if you're showing up with the right message at the right time, using the right marketing tactics for that audience, it's not dead, you know. But if you're showing up because you haven't planned any of it, and you're just splaying your message everywhere, that's a very, very ill-considered and expensive marketing plan. So again, it comes back to that strategic planning around, you know, how and what you'll use there. But yeah, email is very much not dead. And it's largely like, if for small businesses, if they're looking for cost-effective ways to make sales, as I said, make sales, keep front of mind, create more of a relationship or an engagement with the customer, you know, it's sometimes can be a free activity. If your list is under 1,200, MailChimp doesn't even charge you for having an account. So again, no brainer.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think because the social Instagram and Facebook thing are so instantaneous, and I guess they so feel like they're at the touch of our hands, even though MailChimp and, I use Kajabi now for my email because I've been using the course platform, finding it really good. But you can actually log in on your phone, but I think because the others feel so instantaneous, and because as well the net is a bit more cast wide, they feel maybe there's less skin in the game. Whereas I think people feel quite daunted by like you're emailing somebody, like you are going into their inbox. It's become this like private space. But then there's the real value in that, is that you are going into this space, and if they've given you permission, we both love Seth Godin. If they're on your email list, it's generally, don't just go grab emails from somewhere. Like if somebody has subscribed, if somebody has given you permission to email, well, it's because they want to hear from you. And if they don't, they'll unsubscribe. That's what that button's for.
Yeah. So, and look, the biggest benefit for small businesses with email, and it's all well and good to get caught up with the shiny new things, but all of these social media platforms, the communities that you accumulate on those social media channels, you do not own. So Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever your social channel is, shuts down, gets hacked, decides that your account is not abiding by their laws. Someone complains about you, a billion times, and they take you off. You have no control over that. So you could have accumulated your 50,000 followers or your 20,000 group members, however you've accumulated that, 600 friends. If Facebook, something goes wrong, they're gone. So in marketing, what we try and do is we go cast the net wide. As you said, we use social media to cast the net wide, but ultimately we're trying to get as many of those people onto our email database, because once we have their email, we own that address, we own that data. We, if we can have that on an Excel spreadsheet, we could have it written down on paper if we wanted, but it's ours. And if Facebook shuts down, nothing is going to happen to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So many good points. If somebody's looking to start, I won't keep you too much longer. If somebody's looking to start, would you have a tip for them if, email is feeling a bit daunting?
Yeah, look, for my clients, we generally look at their existing clients first, their existing and previous clients. Most people now are collecting email addresses in some way or form of existing or previous clients. We start there. And it's literally as easy as kind of putting those emails together on an Excel spreadsheet, and then using that as your core database, and then choosing whichever email platform you would like to use, and you can upload that database of contacts. Now, because they've done business with you, they're more likely to be okay about being on your list. But what you might want to do is just send them a courtesy email and just say, look, we'd like to keep you in the loop with, this information, this blah, blah, blah. Can we add you to our email database so that you have their opt-in? But if you use an email software like MailChimp, the templates are set up to be completely spam compliant. So because you actually give them the opportunity to opt out of that email, you should be able to just send people that email and they can unsubscribe at any time. So you're good to go. That's the easiest, most simplest way to get started.
Yeah, and I just sort of gave the tip to my clients, which was like the first email can be let me reintroduce myself. Like, hey, hi. We might not have talked for a while. You might have talked to the person yesterday, but why not? This is a little bit about me, or this is a little bit about our business. We're going to be checking in to say hi every now and again. If you like that, see you soon.
Lovely.
That's kind of it. Just a little.
That's a very personal brand centric email. I love it. Right on brand.
I'm going to go back and see if I did it. But I was like, buy my stuff. No, I think you'll ever get an email. Oh, you might. No, I mean, even when you and I did a launch, and even with that, we prefaced that campaign with, you're going to see me a lot. I'm going to be in your inbox for a lot in the next week or so. So stay with me. At the end, thank you for staying with me. And a lot of them did. you know,
Yep.
so
Exactly.
just
You
communicate.
always assume more people are going to unsubscribe or not open than actually do. A lot of people are very happy to hear from you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a nice way. And when you do get those lovely little responses, that's what I always say, just give it a go. And I can guarantee you, even if you get that one reply, like it could be a sale, which could be amazing, but even that one little reply, or that somebody going, this looks great, or thank you for making me think of that, or oh,
Yeah.
that's such a lovely way to end my week. What a nice connection to have.
Yeah.
And that's been directly in your inbox. It's not lost amongst the abyss.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Love
Really
it.
awesome.
Love it.
Thank you so much. You're just so, oh gosh, just want to, I'm just going to invite you to Instagram Lives every month and be like, hey, Jane, we're talking about this today. Write down all my, just going to, Emma's 12-month strategy, build one Instagram Live at a time. Today we're talking objectives with Jane.
Scalability, right? This is scalability. It's not just yours. There's, several people that we're helping
everyone.
with this. That's right.
Jane's
exactly.
lessons.
Yeah.
I'm so appreciative of your time. And how can we subscribe to your newsletter, but how can we connect with you?
Okay, simplest way is just to head to my Instagram handle, How to Do Marketing Academy. There's a link in the bio. It's a link tree, so it has all the relevant links to find my podcast, my website. We've got loads of free resources on there at the moment. So just head over to my How to Do Marketing Academy and click on the link, follow, go nuts.
Yeah, do all the things, as Tina Tower loves to say. Do all the things. Yeah. I'm literally going to take this time to go to my link tree and make sure that my subscribe is in there. Join the email tribe. So there you go. Actionable item for Emma right now.
There we go.
Thank you so much, Jane. You are a treasure.
Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it. Thanks, Em. Always lovely to chat.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye.